There has been a large amount of discussion in the culture on what exactly reason is, whether it has any application to the questions we face today, or if it is just an antiquated cultural artifact of the West. To add further complexity to this, there does not seem to be any agreement on what exactly reason means. It is as if its place in history is in doubt, and it only stirs vague generalities of thinking properly. One part of the culture holds reason as merely a rhetorical device meant to justify Western chauvinism, while the other part vaguely holds a contrasting view that reason is important in some way. After all, it seems as if it is the backbone of science and despite everything, is given credit for the success of Western civilization. Together, we see reason simultaneously held in high regard and contempt. What exactly is the case against reason? This view is that reason is the favorite rhetorical device of Western chauvinists, those that would say that other cultures are inferior because they are at their root irrational. In rejection of the misdeeds of Western culture, whether only perceived or not, reason is held in contempt as an accessory to evil. The reactionary response is to hold all other cultures as equal to Western culture and claim any criticism of irrationality as prejudice. The view is that other cultures are operating by their own customs and traditions, which is equivalent to reason in the West. The end result is the one we see today, where the self-righteous arguments for the dismissal of reason as Western chauvinism are broadcast on technological marvels such as the internet or TV, while their achievement, the staggering scientific and technological knowledge achieved through reason, is left unacknowledged. This bizarre contradiction often leaves people puzzled. There's a sneaking suspicion that something is wrong, but without an explicit grasp of the nature of reason, they remain disarmed and unable to protest. So, what exactly is the nature of reason? The first thing to understand about reason is that it does not describe a rhetorical device or a cultural artifact. Instead, it refers to the internal operations of the human consciousness. Reason encompasses the operations of human consciousness that takes the perception we experience and abstracts it into the conceptual understanding of the world. This capacity is what we use to create the concepts that we use in thinking through how to achieve our personal values. For example, the process of conceptualizing a tree would be to identify its distinguishing characteristics, such as the wooden stem and the plant's particular size, which are different than others, then giving it a name to identify those class of entities. Anything that is now learned about this class of entities can be applied to all of them, allowing for more complex reasoning to be undertaken. Access to knowledge about trees leads to access to knowledge about wood, which leads to carpentry and other various material goods. This process of reason is what is responsible for all human achievement. It encompasses every word that you know and every principle. It enables the value required for human survival by allowing us to derive methods of achieving them through our knowledge. A baby is considered a blank slate. This is because it is without the words or principles, the conceptual knowledge, that is the product of reason. Without reason, there would be no person that goes beyond this blank slate. None of the sophistication of language or culture would ever develop. Reason is a true universal across humanity. A philosophical approach to reason has been foundational to Western culture. It can be traced back to classical Greece and the philosophers such as Aristotle and Plato, who debated the nature of conceptual knowledge, if it was an innate and fundamental aspect of the universe, or the output of the human faculty of reason. This debate has been a fundamental ongoing aspect of Western civilization. There have even been times where reason has receded into the margins and where the universe has been considered unintelligible for humanity. Saying that reason is culturally dominant in the West gives it undeserved credit, as there has always been those who have argued for the impotence of the human mind in the West. However, while reason does not dominate Western culture, it does lay claim to all of its successes. The incredible output of Western civilization, from the development of science, to the political discovery of capitalism, to the discovery of the rights enshrined in the Constitution of the United States, are all the result of the acceptance of reason as a principle. If Western civilization holds some disproportional influence or power, then the credit can be given to the power of reason. What is it to say that other cultures are irrational then? It means that in some fundamental aspect, whether politics, economics, or philosophy, the human mind is considered impotent to comprehend. However, a culture cannot be completely irrational. The values required to make human civilization possible, the division of labor, the law, the language, are all the result of reason. Their efficacy, the degree in which they create the values that make human life possible, is the degree in which they are rational. Just as there are those factions within Western civilization which disagree in the efficacy of reason, so there are those aspects within all cultures which are implicitly rational. The various practices and methods that enable the achievement of human well-being in a culture are all bastions of reason. These accomplishments of culture are the result of the rational discovery of the facts of nature and the integration of those into a value. Those that criticize reason as being a Western standard, not applicable to other cultures, do those cultures a disservice. The capacity to achieve is the capacity to reason. While reason can be seen in culture, it is a fact about the nature of human consciousness, so its primary relevance is to the individual as his means of survival. Reason is the means to the end of human survival because if an individual is not alive, it is impossible to have values to seek with reason. Acting any way that's against this is inherently irrational. There is no rational pursuit of evil, only a rational path to self-destruction with extra steps. The achievement of values requires the rational integration of facts into knowledge of how to achieve such values. Whether it is the achievement of a career, a romantic relationship, or even a home-cooked meal, all values are the result of reason. It might be said that this process can be skipped, that you can simply copy what other people have done before you, to sidestep this process. However, someone still has to integrate those facts and formulate the knowledge of how to achieve those values. There is no escape from the fundamentality of reason to human existence. Reason is universal. It is the method in which individuals achieve their values, regardless of what culture they exist in. It is the means for any ambition or goal one pursues. The understanding of reason is what sent Western civilization out from the muck of the Dark Ages to the dizzying heights that it is at now. Those that say that reason is a cultural artifact of the West, or a rhetorical device, are utterly wrong. It is the explicit understanding of the nature of human consciousness. This singular aspect of our nature, our reason, is at the root of every accomplishment of any culture. Reason must be accepted as universal, not so the West can be glorified, but so individuals across the world can understand the root of how to achieve their dreams and ambitions.